Hello everybody and welcome to Scripting in Action, in which I will show you how I actually use scripting to help me manage the network. Now, I don't know where I'm going to be going on the screen, so I have shut the camera off, and plus y'all know what I look like anyway. Anyway, the question we have now is Active Directory users, and let me pull this up. Okay, this is Active Directory users in the computers. This is for the CSCI network, and these are the students. These are all y'all, as we say in the South. Now, what happens, you notice some of those have a little tiny arrow on the end of it. Well, that's because they are actually disabled. And unfortunately, this doesn't tell you how many of each, how many you got. You can tell we got quite a bit, though. I think it's something like 400 or 500. Okay. At the beginning of each term, I'm not going to hand punch in information for 400 or 500 people, and I haven't done so. I've actually got a script that helps me add people. Well, after I add them, I eventually want to take them away, because otherwise this will just continue growing at about 400 or 500 per quarter until it gets absolutely unwieldy. So to help me manage that, I have some scripts, and I'm using PowerShell because I'm using an Active Directory thing on the Windows machine. And you might hear my little kitty. I'll have to sit there and pet her a little bit. She'll be okay. Okay, and I'm right-clicking on the ISE, basically your development environment. I also have to say run as an administrator. That gives me elevated privileges. That gives me superpowers. Okay. At the beginning of at the end of summer, I wrote a script that would actually upload students. A CSV is a comma separated values table. It's basically I'll show you one real quick. Okay, where we at? That should be close enough. Open file location. Okay, well, let me show you a CSV file real quick. Now, if you do this on an ordinary computer, Excel is going to pick it up and open it as an Excel file, but this is what it actually looks like. Notice it has all of the column names at the top, and then it has commas separating out the various values. Okay, so the idea is to take that, which you can get automated printouts like that fairly easy from, that's a lot of database type things will have it where you can print it out to a comma separated file. Well, you can see where I sit there and work with the file, manipulate it, and I basically get it to where I upload it into Active Directory, and that's all of these entries you see here. Well, the question is, I keep on input and I got to output sometime, and those of you in cybersecurity know that an open unused user ID or logon is a security hazard. So how do I handle that? Well, the first thing I did was I didn't use the same script for everything. I used to do that, and I found out that was just awkward. I found out that disabled students I could do it at a different time frame, and I don't have to do it at the same time, and it works out better. So the logic is that I disable scripts that were made greater than 5 months ago that the department value was not CSCI. Now the department, no, not that one. The department's over here in organization, and I use that to denote CSCI students. Now CSCI students I give 6 years to make sure that they have plenty of time to go through and get their masters and all that. Everybody else basically gets deleted after they get disabled after they go through their course, because generally they only take one CSCI course. That's all that's required for core. Okay, back to the script. Now there's some interesting things in there. I found out that trying to calculate the login cutoff just didn't work well, so I abandoned that. Now here, if you notice, I have enable AD account. What happened was I accidentally disabled a lot of AD accounts I did not intend to disable, and the reason I did that is if you scroll up here, for these properties, if you don't specify these properties, when you try to reference them, it will say they're null. It won't tell you that you didn't pull them. It won't give you any warning. So what happened was it went through and it said everybody was at least 5 months old because it read a null as 5 months old, and then it disabled everybody, and I had to put it back. Now what happens in practice is I will disable I will comment this out temporarily, and then I'll have the log state who is going to be disabled. Then I'll look at that, and once I'm happy with that, I'll run it for a production run. And let's see, where do I have that? Do I have that in here? Yes, I do. Log file text. Okay, and that's a sample of one of the printouts. Actually, that's the sample where I cross-compared it to a CSCI student listing. Okay, what it has for everybody who was disabled was when their last logging date was, and August of 2023. That's pretty safe to say that he's pretty much done. Now you have some that never logged in and they were created back in last August. Those can be disabled. So anyway, that's what I did. And part of the thing with scripts is, with scripts you don't have things that are strongly typed, and it's not nearly so fussy as about your variables, and sometimes you'll just assume it knows what you're doing and go along and do it, which if what it does is what you want to do, that's fine, but there's a greater possibility you get a false negative or a false positive with a script, because it will not handle null conditions and other things like you would expect it would. Anyway, that's ScriptingInAction. I hope this was kind of enlightening on how scripts are actually used to run a network, and we'll talk with you later.